3/8 row width and lay 3 irrigation tapes
Oh, wow.
with this one. So this is the second one we
Will
built.
this go on a full-size skid steer?
No.
Because it
Just
has a
a-
different
well,
plate.
All I got to do is make an adapter from full to small.
Yeah.
And we just fabricated an adapter that'll go from my excavator to the trencher and the auger. In case I need to trench in a funky location or auger in a funky location or really deep hole, I can hook these implements up to my excavator. So it wouldn't be nothing for me to make an adapter for full size
Do
to
you need an
tore up.
intern to teach welding?
That's my brother.
Okay.
I can weld. He says, you come up all these down like this, and I have to figure out how to make them. I'm like, okay.
Now you need
That's
to
your
sell
brother
that.
in there?
No,
Okay.
that's Brian. Brian just helped me. He and I met in the South Carolina New and Beginning Farmers
Awesome.
Program.
Okay.
And he came to the farm one day, just like y'all, and he's like, I like what you're doing. I want to help. And later on, I found out, he said, I really came here to learn all the mistakes so I don't have to make them again on my farm. But I'm like, okay, that's all right. So we learn a lot here. We are definitely a research and development farm.
You need to patent some of these.
Yeah, what we want to do is sell them. So I show them off. If you're interested, we can fabricate it and make
Yeah.
it.
We
We're
have
not
a skid
fast.
steer.
We're not fast, but we can definitely do it. So if you're interested, now it's not going to be cheap because that's a lot of fabrication. And it might even be cheaper to go buy one of these from Nolt's, but they're not going to do it all in line. Nolt does just the bed forming and plastic laying. That's and the irrigation tape. We try to minimize steps.
Yeah.
Run one pass and do it all. So anything you see here that we made that's blue, we made it. I try to paint everything blue. That's our BCS.
Okay.
And I use that. That's cool. I hardly ever use that, and I usually that gets skipped, and I go to that if I need something big. That rarely gets used. My brothers use it more than I do. This I use almost every single day for everything. Most of the time with forks. I'm just doing everything with forks. I move my chicken tractor with it. I'm moving I put everything sitting on pallets.
Yeah.
Got a pallet, move it. Trailer, I got a ball for it. I need to move trailers around. I just put the thing on there, move trailers around with the ball.
How much is one of those?
That with that grapple out there was 30 grand. So they're not cheap, but super versatile and a whole lot easier. Hop on, do what you need, and hop off. Go climb in that 14 times a day.
And
that
that's
sucks.
60 to 70,000.
Yeah, those are a lot more expensive. Yep. I mean, you can find them used. I
Yeah,
think we
yeah.
paid 12 for that one with 4 implements, believe it or not. Got about 3,000 hours on it. It probably still only has about 3,200 hours on it. Still get used a whole lot. But it's nice to have it when you need
Yep.
it. So it's one of those things that's indispensable when you need it and in the way when you don't. So we got a lot of stuff sitting here. We're working on a new playground. Y'all hadn't seen the new playground we had made. I know y'all were here.
Before you
Little
did
while
it,
back.
yeah.
But I think we were just getting ready to do that. I don't know how much it's changed because I just work all the time. Really.
Yeah.
So that's new, I know.
Yeah. All this is.
We're getting ready to. We got a train set down here.
Oh, wow.
We're gonna redo the train set and put it down here. We're gonna put this. We got to rebuild this whole thing. We've already started rebuilding it. This was given to us.
Nice.
And so what we're gonna do is just buy all new wood, take all the hardware, and put it on new wood. Put it together down there. Put a border around it. Put the rubber mulch. All that rubber mulch. I paid $800 to get that rubber mulch moved here. That's what it cost me to get that whole playground and that rubber mulch. It was gifted. So they said, just come get it. I didn't realize it was in that bad shape, but it is what it is. So what I showed them was our aerator that, like, she was asking me about overseeding, like cover cropping and stuff like that. So I showed her that we have an aerator.
Okay.
We hook up 3-point seed spreader, and then our aerator that we fabricated, and then a drag behind that, and we kind of do it all in one pass.
Oh, wow.
So, and I'll show you that. Just don't let me forget. I'll show you
Okay.
that in just a minute. And then she
Really?
talked about the BCS a while ago, the new BCS tractor they have. So our BCS is actually that orange skid steer right there.
Okay.
It's not a BCS. It's actually a Ditch Witch SK800, but it's what we use for everything around here. It's somewhat low impact, probably not, maybe not quite as low. I don't know. You on the BCS, you still have a fair amount of weight, but you got a tire, and that tire has a small impact location, which means it puts a lot of weight in that one spot. This has tracks, so
Yeah.
it's a lot heavier, but it spreads that weight over a lot
Right.
more square inches. So they might be about the equal amount of
Now they need to make a track
Impact.
DCS.
But you see, we can
Yeah.
put forks
And they
on
might.
that and move heavy stuff around
Yeah.
the farm.
yeah. This is
A
just
bucket
so
can
versatile.
go on it,
Yeah.
and you can put the
Yeah,
BCS
auger,
type implement on
trench,
it as
I mean
well.
everything.
Yeah.
And our bedrow former. That's another thing I showed them that I'll show you if you remind me.
Okay.
Forms a bedroll, put the plastic mulch on, and the drip tape all in one pass.
So playground, solar. Y'all seen our solar? You saw the solar?
This whole
So we run
farm
our whole
ran off the
farm off
solar.
Yeah.
All right, and then we have a 4-acre pond back here in the back. This is our blackberry patch. You asked me about RCA trailers.
Yes.
So we're getting ready to put our wires on finally. We finally got it somewhat cleaned up. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. I just had to replace this one because I backed into it with. So one time I used the skid steer backed into that because you can't see all of it either. You know, with the mini, you can see all around. With that, you can't see behind you. So I ran into that. It just snapped it off. But I got about 8 60-pound bags of concrete out around every one of these.
It holds the high tension of the wires.
Yeah, high tension wire. So yeah, so you got primicanes and fluorocanes on blackberries, and I'm not very well versed on blackberry production. We're going to learn a lot more about it. But basically, you take wires. This wire, you would push it in this way, and it'll hold when you try to pull it back out. And this wire goes in this way, and it'll hold when you try to pull it back out. So this one will go here and fasten to there, and this one will run all the way down through every one of those, and then attach at the other end the same way as we're going to attach this way, except the opposite way. And then, so this is for,
The new canes.
yeah, I don't remember which one's which. Prima, I think. I think Prima means first.
Prima means new.
Prima means for new. Okay, all right. So this will be primicanes. This will be fluorocanes. And what you do is, you do the same thing here. You got wire, you got wire, you got wire, and then you got wire and wire going back to hold it over here. And they're down like this, and your balloons bloom upward towards the sun. That's where your berries form. Once your balloons bloom, you take this whole row, and you get, now how hard this is going to be, I don't know yet. We got to figure it out. But you're supposed to switch the whole row all the way down like that right there. And now your blooms are this way. So guess what your blooms turn into? Blackberries.
All on one
Now
side.
you can pick your blackberries in the shade, and they're all hanging down.
What is this?
So that's the novelty
Rotating
of the
arm
RCA
trellis
trellis.
system.
Rotating arm?
Or
Yeah,
rotating
rotating
cross arms. Yeah,
RCA.
RCA. They're hard to find. You're not.
Yeah,
You're
there's
probably
only one
not going to
company.
find them online.
I don't think they're American company. I
They're
think
not.
Trellis
And you,
growing system.
I got lucky, and I know a guy that's got some sitting in an old barn that he might sell me.
We bought
but-
these, so if we're going to do more, we'll probably fabricate and make.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is fiberglass or something. I don't know how well they're gonna do. We'll see. But we can make it out of metal if we have to. We actually drove metal, 1-inch metal in the ground. I forget how they were saying make these.
I did
But
a
we were like,
grant
I don't think
though
that's gonna
for
work,
them,
so
and I
we
couldn't
drove
find
that.
pricing on them anywhere. Like I was just trying to, you know what I mean, to write the grant, to get the pricing, and there was no information anywhere. So I just guessed, like,
Yeah.
because you can't find them
These
anymore.
blackberries
Yeah.
have really changed over the week. There's really.
Yeah,
They're
Cynthia's
getting
really, they're getting, yeah, they are. They're getting really close. Cynthia's been out here working. That's why all the stuff's in the middle. She got out. My wife got out here and she spent about a week.
How's she
out here
doing?
cleaning
Deer
up. She's
comes
doing
out and
good.
ruins
Yeah.
a couple of our.
She's doing real good.
Good.
She
We got
enjoys
fences
getting
up.
out in this kind of weather.
Yeah,
Glad she's
I was
not
gonna
here
say,
outside
yeah.
working now.
We meant to ask you when we
Yeah.
were down
Yeah.
at
She's
Agritourism.
doing good. She's doing good. You know, so my wife has immunodeficiency. She had no pancreas and no spleen. She had chronic pancreatitis, and she had to have her pancreas removed along with her spleen back in 2016, I think is when it was. So she's a full-blown diabetic. She's actually a type 3C diabetic, which is a type 1 diabetic with no pancreas. And the C means auto islet transplant. So they took her pancreas out, took it to the lab, did some work, their magic, foo-foo dust magic or whatever, and took the islets out and transfused the islets into the portal vein of her liver. And they were supposed to go in and set up shop and start producing insulin from within her liver. But because her pancreas is supposed to be the size of, they took it out and put it in your hand, it's supposed to be about that big, whatever, your hand, my hand, whatever. Hers was the size of a paper clip. Paper clip, doesn't matter, it's way gone. So they was only able to get like 30,000 islets instead of like hundreds of thousands, like 500,000, 700,000 something. So this is not really working as far as producing her insulin. So she's on an insulin pump and a continuous glucose monitor. So anyways, that's just good.
Yeah, my brother has stomach surgery removed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Highly immunodeficient. Just be really careful. Back when we were probably together last time, I was really wearing a mask because freaking out about being around people and bringing it back to her. So I'm not as worried about me as I am just about her. So I'll be really cautious about being around big groups of people and stuff. So anyways, all right. So y'all who asked me about greenhouse?
Oh, I'm high tunnels, yeah.
So the one thing we learned recently, we put this greenhouse up. This is a Farm Tech greenhouse. We put it up in 2017. What we learned is these don't last in wood. 2017 and 2020, they were already rotted. They were already rotted. We saw them come, our wiggle wire channels coming out
And it tore our plastic.
a couple of years ago, and our plastic gets degraded. So I would recommend upgrading if you're going to do. Go ahead. You can just buy these double wiggle wire channels, however many feet you need. I bought some aluminum pieces, some metal. You can probably see it from the back side over there. They're just some pieces I think I bought on eBay or something. And we just fasten them to that. So you're welcome to take pictures of whatever you want. I'd highly recommend at least doing that one. The other thing, knowing what I know now about that wood, this wood's probably not lasting either, especially because it's touching the ground. I did find that there are metal greenhouse baseboards, not at Farm Tech though. They were somewhere else, and I don't know if it was Greenhouse Grower Solution or something. Just look up greenhouse metal baseboard. You got to buy your baseboards anyways. You got to buy wood. So if you take the money that you're going to save on a Farm Tech, because these greenhouse, look at the pipes, are great. I mean, it's not like it's a cheap system, right? The frame is what you need. And Farm Tech, you can't beat their pricing and their shipping, especially if it's free. Spend the money here and spend the money there. And then later go back, if you don't have money, go ahead and buy it. You can see we had the zippered in walls. They don't last but about a year, maybe two, if you're not real windy. We're real windy right here. But they'll just whip in the wind and it just tears them up. So you can see we went and bought from a metal roofing company, 2-inch square tubing. We fabricated all of that and then bought polycarbonate, twin wall polycarbonate, put it on the end. All this stuff here we bought from
We
Farm
made the
Tech.
doors too.
Yeah, we fabricated the sliding doors, everything.
But y'all aren't taking a tractor in there.
No, you can if you want.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
the
say,
doors
see,
open
I-
up where you
Yeah.
can fit
I
it.
can
I
take the
wanna
ditch
fit
witch in
it
for
with
sure.
Well, yeah.
You got to make it tall enough to get your tractor. If you had a tractor with a rocks on it and it folds down,
It does,
take
yeah.
it, no problem.
I have a 10-foot tall. Mine is
Door?
gross. Yeah, mine is
Yeah.
gross and it's 10 foot
Yeah.
tall.
Yeah.
This whole place is sealed once the plastic's on.
Yeah.
That's why you see that screen.
Yeah, so
No
she talked
bugs
about
getting
thrips and insects. We're totally sealed up once we get
No hornworms.
Yeah. And we have a fogger system in here if we do get hornworms, so we can fogger
So we
the whole greenhouse. That's
Stuff with the magnet, you know, you see on
Sliding glass
Walmart
door.
or online.
like $60 on Amazon. That's a trial. We didn't do the other side yet, so just do that up there. So let's try that.
Yeah.
Tell me
Now,
what
did you start with an NRCS grant or?
Yes, this is it. This one is, well, no, I didn't start with the equip grant. That one we started with, it was I paid $1,100 for it. I drove by it for like 5 years and saw it was just a frame sitting out in somebody's yard. And I drove down in their driveway, knocked on their door, nobody was home. Got a Post-it note out and said, hey, if you're interested in selling your greenhouse frame, I'd be interested in buying it. Stuck it on their car and left. 2 days later, the guy calls me and said, hey, I got your note on my car. I'd like to sell it if you're interested. Okay, how much you want? He said $1,100. Still had the plastic in the plastic cover and everything. So it was just only 26 by 36. But that was where I started. We got that put up.
said if you just do it.
That's about from there to there. And then we extended. I bought another 48 footer, I think, from
No, we
Farm
did
Tech.
one-
Brought it this way and that way. So that one's 96 feet.
2 years ago.
That one's 26
Yeah,
by
terrible
96. This
weeds
one's
in
30 by 84.
But we weren't all sealed up.
But the
very
things that this is the first one we really
So,
completed
we,
because we got the
covered the whole
NRCS
ground,
grant for this
covered
one. So
everything
that
up,
one was still just a
solar,
frame when we got this one.
But
NRCS, how much?
if you only needs 140 degrees, we went up into 200 something.
How often do they come out?
And it melted.
Just one time.
One time.
One time.
Yeah, they've
time.
only been out one
That's why
time.
they're like that.
She's
Once
never
you
been
get
out
it
here since
up,
then.
yeah, I was gonna say Amanda just went through the process and they've
Yeah.
come out and checked hers and like they won't be back out again.
Lynn Newton never came out here in the 4 years. I
Yeah.
put this up in 2017. She never came back out.
So if you put chickens in here,
Put
You
a
just
cover
have to
crop.
be growing
yeah,
something
you
on
had
the
to
ground.
grow something
Cover
in the
crop.
ground for that check, and then I mean,
Yeah, cover crop. All they want is something on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Cover crop. You
And
get
mine
cover
didn't
crop for
even
4
have
years.
anything on the ground. It was covered with black plastic.
yeah,
so
she
that I
had
could
like a.
solarize it.
Yeah.
okay.
And then I just pulled it back and said, yeah, I'm growing in the ground right here.
Yeah,
That
and they'll
kale
probably.
was planted February last year.
Yeah.
2013.
What were you telling me though about the trusses or like
So-
the W?
So you don't have to buy the trusses, right? So
Uh-huh.
just buy a basic greenhouse frame.
Okay.
This pole right here came from Greenville Fence Company. It's like a 22-foot top rail fence post or something.
Uh-huh.
And then that is a 3/4 inch EMT that I bought from Home Depot. Cut it to whatever length you want. I think I put those in the vise. I think I started hitting them with a hammer to bend them down, and
Platinum.
what I ended up finding is, what did I put it in? A press. So I got a hydraulic press, and I just stick it in there so far and just turn it on, and it would come and collapse it. Hey, baby, all right?
We got these wires that run up and down. 2 wires for each row. So say you got tomatoes, when they're little tiny, you start them
Okay.
down here.
Ah,
And
love you,
this
thank
just
you.
quickly adjust as they grow up. Don't take no time at all. Just adjust. And then as they get real long, we start laying them. One row will lay one way and the other row will lay this way, and you get this crisscross in here. It looks beautiful in here.
Mhm.
Peppers same way.
Yep. So
Very
you can
quick and
see
easy.
this stuff right here is just the same stuff you use for a fence. It's I mean, you can buy that at Home Depot. You can buy that at Home Depot. All the bolts you can buy at Home Depot. You can't buy the 22-foot pole at Home Depot. You got to go to a fence company to get that. But you can buy that locally, save the shipping, because you try to get that shipped, and that's really expensive because it's so big. But even that's called the rafter. That's like I mean, some of them are W's, depending
Yeah.
on how wide it
You
is.
got lights in here so you can work at night.
This one came with no rafter.
Or it can extend the
Right.
growing.
That's what I was gonna say, Amanda.
what
If I'm
that
doing the
does-
Gothic style or whatever, can I still come back in and do what he's
Walls
done?
go up automatically,
Okay.
fans automatically,
So that I can
drippings
trellis,
automatically.
because basically that's what's.
So
If you
I'm
wanna fog it,
210,
it's automatic.
15 pounds. I mean, that'll withstand a whole lot of weight.
We crawl up there all the time.
If you
doing
don't,
infrastructure.
yeah, if you don't do that, a snow load, and I know in this area we don't have a lot of snow, but we have had 12 inches of snow in 1988. It will collapse it. With this, it won't collapse it. Well, it'll be very, very difficult
Yeah.
for it to collapse it, just because of the way it's kind of structured. There's just a lot of
And you're
weight
just
bearing
replasticking right now, or
My plastic is laying in the floor. It's just been so windy. So we had a big rip down through here. We had our shade cloth on and everything, and I walked in here in like January and I went, what am I seeing here? This is weird looking. It was ripped from one end to the other. So about 2 weeks ago, we went ahead and took the plastic off, took the shade cloth off, put it in a bag, because we got a big bag. We put it in like one of those Gaylord bags. Put it in one of those, put it on the shelf. Got all the plastic off, realized our ribbon boards were rotten. Crap, I don't have enough double wiggle wire. I had like 4. So then I had to order a double wiggle wire channel from Farm Tech, wait on it to get here. Then we had to find time to get that done. We had to drop that's thrip string. So she talked about, that was one thing I was gonna say a while ago. She talked about thrips and bugs and trying to keep them out. That's what that is. That's actually called thrip string. So
they can't travel.
they can't get through that. And not only that, when this fan, anytime this shutter's open, that fan's on.
Okay.
So they're not coming this way. But we also, on this end,
Screen
just
that
fabricated a frame and put thrip string all the way around it to keep them from getting sucked in through there. So once we get our plastic on, we are completely sealed. And so another thing, you see all this duct tape and everything, lady, you might see it hanging. One of the things that I saw that was suggested before you put your plastic on is to cover your bows with tape. And what that's supposed to do is help prevent the metal from getting so hot that it burns your plastic. I would suggest not doing this and just putting the shade cloth on and keeping your shade cloth on year round.
Yep.
We put 50 because it makes a mess when, and it fell off even with the plastic on. So maybe it helped it, but it still didn't last. 2017 to 20, here we are in 2024, we're having to replace it. So
So that's what, like,
when
every
it
where
didn't
you've
work,
got
now
all
it's
the
crap we gotta
black
clean up.
around the.
That's 80% shade
Block
cloth.
those, so.
Yep. So QLIPR. Look up QLIPR. It's called a clipper system. QLI, and we have a box in there. You remind me, I'll show you. I'm pretty sure it's QLIPR. Clipper. Clipper. It's probably Clipper trellising system. You find it?
Clipper hooks.
That's it. Clipper
You
hooks.
get them never sink or
No, I didn't buy them from Neversink. I actually bought them from Europe before Neversink had them. But I did see them at Neversink.
yeah.
We
I
had
thought-
trouble with weeds.
he didn't
from
have them
cropping
when
up
I bought
and
them.
weeding and weeding
But I
and
think he
weeding,
had
especially with
just got
the
'em.
rain, it comes down really.
And
so
I
put
looked
that
them
down,
up and I
and that took care of
found
it.
somebody in Europe or Italy or wherever the heck they come from. And I
Those are my trouble spots. Was the pruning.
Well, I planned about doing something because I,
And would you use this on the out? I mean,
Yeah.
uh,
What?
outside.
Could
too?
you use it outside? Yeah, you just gotta have something to hang to.
Yep.
So you see how we have the
Yeah.
wire running down? That's what we hook them to. You just have to have some kind of a wire, like a 4x4
husband said,
every so
yeah.
often,
Yep.
and have a wire. Yeah, absolutely.
I was just trying
We
to
try
figure
to
out
make
what
and fabricate everything we can
system
here.
to use,
Yeah.
and that
No,
seems
this